looks different in the winter.
Yeah. That's where our solar panel should be.
Yeah.
Fell over. The intake and the water.
Very, very primitive.
It's so squished down. She's rocking. Well, the good news is our solar pump is still working great. The water tank isn't a block of ice, and solar panel is here. I think, well, I know we won't be able to use this right now because the water line going up the hill and through the forest is for sure frozen. Still pretty snowy in there, even though it's melted out everywhere else on the hillsides. Yeah, the water line won't be good to go yet, so now we're gonna go check our spring box and see how that's doing.
Hi.
Boo-boo! Meow. This camera won't get close enough, but there's a little white rabbit right in there. I just saw a little snowball moving. Oh, he's so cute. Hi. Good morning and welcome back, everyone. On the roster today is water. Greg has got the truck started up and we've got, I think we're gonna bring all the dogs today. It's not that exciting for them, they just sit in the back seat, but they wanna come. So we are gonna be heading over to the creek to start trucking in some water. And I did want to address two questions we've gotten in our previous water videos. Why don't we drill a well? And the reason we're not drilling a well is because we live on the side of the mountain. There's no sign of water on our property. All of our water sources are off of our property, and I don't actually know the legalities of drilling a well off of your own property. So I think here it would be incredibly expensive to go as deep as we would need to go to get to water here. And there's no vegetation that suggests there's water, you know, anywhere close. So that's why we're not drilling a well. It is pretty common around here to take surface water from a creek, and that's what we have. So that's what we do. And the other good news that I wanted to address is Greg has been walking our permanent water line pathway from the creek where we get our water in the summer. He's got a plan figured out for that. We're gonna start working on it in the summer. Our neighbor has a bulldozer and he's offered to help us get a good chunk of it dug up, and we will have the tractor to help with that. And then there's gonna be a couple hills that we can't take any machine on, and we're probably gonna be digging those by hand, I think. So yeah, that's gonna be coming up in the future. And we were really inspired by Nomadic Movement's recent video where they built a ram pump on their property. We've known about ram pumps for a while and we're not 100% sure it's gonna work for us here still, but I think we're probably gonna try it out and see how it goes. Our only concern is gonna be winter and freezing. Not too sure how we will set that up to avoid freezing, but yeah, I think it's worth trying out. Greg is waiting for me, so I'm gonna jump in the truck and let's go get some water. Got the boo-boo in the front footage. It's the black shadow boy being the nice guy in the back.
road with the chains.
Well, that'll be a test of the water repellency of the GoPro screen. I didn't realize the hose was spraying on the camera, so we'll see how that shot turned out. I guess you would have seen it by the time I'm talking about this. So we are going to try something different this round. We're going to put an IBC tank in our green truck as well and get 2 loads in one go, so that hopefully we can be done this sooner and on to the next projects. But the thing is, we can't fill the tank fully in the green truck because that's our good truck and we're not going to rat bag it like we have with the Chevy. I think I've put clips in before of the sound that the Chevy makes. When the tank is full and it's not good. This truck doesn't go on the road, it just stays on the forestry road between the water and home. So yeah, that's our the truck that we beat the crap out of.
And it can take it because it's a Chevy.
Yeah, Greg says it can take it because it's a Chevy.
There's nothing wrong with a half-ton Chevy.
It does have heated seats, which our Dodge does not have, so it's got that going at least.
Just a little bit? Okay, no. Come forward a bit. What? Come forward a bit. Okay, hold. Bought a new motion light for the woodshed.
Oh. Oh, that's brown. That's like straight up muck water.
Oh, it's flat on the bottom.
Yuck. Get that out of there.
Straight up muck water, Katie. What do you know about muck water?
A lot. We've been drinking it for years.
That's why you're getting strong. You drink muck. Instead of water.
No puppies in the hole.
So we've done a lot of different styles of compost in the past, and I think we're gonna go back to a good old style that we used to do, which was just putting 4 pallets together and then just throwing your compost inside the little pallet, I guess, bin. But we're gonna move our composting area because it's really hard to get to, and this is going to be temporary because this thing is going to be out of here in the springtime, and we want to make a composting area that we can actually access with the tractor, so we can use the tractor to mix it up and aerate it and whatnot, and then take all of the compost out. So for time being, I got this little spot here by the goat pen. I think I'm just gonna build myself a little compost there. Our other spot is completely full. We have to let it fully compost before we can use it in the garden. We kind of need to just leave it where it is. So before the sun goes down, I'm gonna whip up a quick little compost bin, and then I'm gonna start filling it systematically. So welcome back to our new compost. It's a very large compost. We have a lot of nitrogen sources that need to be composted down and extra carbon that needs to be dealt with. So it works really well together. We spared you the spectacle of our poop going in here. And which is the grossest part, is actually the kitchen scraps. I don't know if you guys have compost at home, but kitchen scraps, if you leave them too long, rancid, real easy. It's easily grosser, more gross? It's way more gross than putting our poop in here. Poop's easy. So anyway, come take a look, Katie. Nothing's gross in here. You can smell it a little bit just because we just covered it up. We're gonna put a whole ton of chicken poop on top of here, which is a giant nitrogen source. And then we're gonna mix that up with more sawdust.
It's already mixed in.
What?
The chicken poo.
No. We're gonna grab more.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna grab way more because that pile is not gonna be okay. So we're gonna grab a whole wheelbarrow full of chicken poo, put it in here, and then we're gonna grab another wheelbarrow full of, or two full of sawdust, put it in here, and that'll get this thing going. We'll give it a good little bit of water. 4 days from now, it should be real warm and actively composting. So let's get to it.
And maybe one of our chickens.
And maybe one of our chickens.
She's dying.
Actually, definitely one of our chickens. Yeah. I'm gonna put a chicken in here tonight. Rest in peace, Brenda.
The downside of this lifestyle is falling in love with your little animals and then losing them. Brenda's one of our original chickens that we rescued from the road that we live on, that they were abandoned, 12 chickens. And she's a really nice bird. She's one of my favorites. Tried everything to try to bring her back, and I thought that she was coming back because the other day I let all the birds out and she was out with everyone and it was all good. But now I can just tell that she's just suffering. So sad day here when this sort of stuff happens.
We'll have another one of these. So I find that my sawdust that I get from my my mill clumps up and turns anaerobic. No air. And it just saturates and it doesn't compost properly. So if you take a look at that, see how fine that is? So what I do, what I'm trying for the first time, is just mixing in some of these chips so that it doesn't have the tendency to clump. And I know it's gonna take a little bit longer for compost, no big deal. Oh man, that smells nice. So yeah, I think this is gonna work really well actually, Katie. Like, look at that. That's gonna be way less likely to clump up hard. Okay. Chicken poop and human poop and pee. A lot of you are gonna find this to be a gross video, and I hope this inspires some of you, because it's actually really awesome. Composting's a really wholesome experience to build really healthy soil out of everything that you use organic. Like, we put meat in here, our waste, our chicken waste, our goat waste, spent straw from the goat pen. We're gonna do a couple of different types of compost this year so that we can really ramp up our soil production, so that we can have gardens in different areas than just up here. So yeah, composting.
So our plan right now as well is we're gonna start composting in different areas so that we don't have to move everything around so much. We've been composting over by the chickens and it's not very accessible for the tractor. So that's another reason why we're finishing up over in that area, is we're gonna be able to just drive the tractor in, scoop it up and take it where we go, or do it where we're planning on growing stuff already so that it's really close and we can just put it in the new garden bed. So I want to get, the goats are going to go over by the chickens, and that's going to be kind of the animal area. And we're going to be taking down this massive pine tree because it's pretty scary. The roots don't look very secure at the base of it, and it's a huge tree, so we don't want it near the house. So yeah, we're gonna move the goats over by the chickens and then take that tree out, and we'll have way more sunlight over here and I can start growing stuff here. I want to do raised garden beds. Greg wants to garden on the ground, but we're doing some raised garden beds.
Yeah, sure,
And then on the other side of the bus I have berries. So that soil is not very good, and I know that once we get some compost over there it'll do a lot better. So yeah, looking forward to having lots of berries in the summertime.
So before, just point in there. There's no smell in this whatsoever.
Except for wood smell.
It smells amazing actually, because that's freshly cut pine. There's no smell in this whatsoever. And this pile will drop 2/3. If I was just to leave it, it'll drop 2/3 when it's compost, when it all breaks down. And yeah, composting's not gross. There's nothing gross about this. You know, it's normal. It's normal for us. Totally. It's manageable. You should try it. You might like it. If you got a garden, it's better than buying it for sure. You can't even get compost as good as what we get up here. So
yeah, so just start pooping in your yard.
Start pooping in your yard, like Katie says.
Just not if you have neighbors close by. You want it? Ooh. Maybe you want some too? You already had a bunch. Nebs! Nebby! Come on, Nebs! Rude! Hey, no fighting. Quick, Nebby, quick. What's my glove? That's why we call you Fat Boy. Because he wants it. Hey, be nice. Leave him alone. Okay, one more for Nebs. There you go.